The Game, written by Valerie Torres and read by Valerie Torres. Honorary guests, please jump onto the platform to await further instructions, the voice on the intercom said. A few began jumping onto the platform from the open doorway. I stood at the doorway, unsure of what to do. I couldn't see what was underneath the platform, just never-ending darkness. I could hear the unrest from the people behind me. I couldn't remain indecisive. I clutched my 6-month-old son, Caden, and made the leap. The leap was about 3 feet in width, and I nearly tripped. Thankfully, I had Caden safely wrapped in a scarf that was tied tightly around my waist and chest. As I repositioned myself on top of the platform, I noticed there was nothing holding it up. There was a 3-foot gap between the platform and the wall, and only one door. The platform seemed stable enough, despite the added weight of the 20 or so people on it. The platform seemed to be made of stainless steel, no bigger than an Olympic-sized pool. There were a lot of individuals that I recognized from high school, and a handful of single mothers that were from my neighborhood. And from what I can tell, everyone was a minority of some kind. We all stood around, unsure of what to do for the first few minutes. As a few began to talk amongst themselves, I stood by myself with Caden, who had just woken up from a nap. As I focused on my restless son, someone approached me. "Rebecca," someone said. I turned around and instantly recognized who the voice came from. "Damien, it's so good to see you," I said, giving him a quick side hug. His eyes immediately settled at the small bundle I held in my hands. He began to smile as his eyes lit up. "And who might this be?" he asked, gently stroking Caden's side. Caden began to giggle, his laugh capturing the attention of those nearby. "This is my son, Caden." "He's 6 months old," I said, poking his cheeks to get him to laugh more. He was getting a lot of attention. "Hello, Caden," he said. He held out both hands, politely asking if he could hold him. I wouldn't normally allow just anyone to hold Caden. I've learned my lesson from former family members, and I was still traumatized by it. But I felt somewhat comfortable with him, and I knew him to be a good person. Once Damien had Caden, he began playing with him. Caden seemed to enjoy it, his laughter quickly filling the room. For the first time in a long time, I finally had a few minutes to myself. I took the opportunity to stretch out my limbs. I never knew how heavy Caden was. All of a sudden, the voice on the intercom began to speak. "Thank you so much for your patience. We are excited that all of you from Spruce Street, Bloomfield, New Jersey, were able to participate in this game. As many of you noticed, we've asked parents and single parents to bring their kids since the prize for winning is one that anyone would want. As we all know with our current economic situation, it is becoming harder to keep yourselves afloat. That is why the winner of our game will be given $500 million and a brand new home in Brookdale. There's only one catch. There can only be one winner. This means in a large family with multiple children, only one individual from that family may have a chance at the prize. The prize cannot be shared within families. As you have noticed, you are all on a platform hanging over a 400-foot drop. There is only one exit and the door will remain closed. Each of you received an envelope before entering the platform, which you were instructed to keep closed until the appropriate time. Inside each envelope is a name and picture of another individual on the platform. You must push that individual off the platform in order to keep yourselves in the game. This includes any elderly, sick person, and yes, even babies. We understand that taking the life of another may be difficult, but we have taken the liberty of ensuring that there will be no literal blood in your hands. We're not asking for violence, but rather swift action. Remember, if you cannot see them suffering, it doesn't count. Honorary guest, please open your envelopes. I pray that you have the best chances of winning. After that, the intercom went quiet. Everyone on the platform was in shock. Not a sound was made as everyone continued to take in what was said. A handful began to murmur, and before long, chaos ensued. A few began to run towards the door, though the 3-foot gap was still there. A young man attempted to leap towards the door, but couldn't secure himself on the landing. He tried to keep himself secured by grabbing onto the door, but it quickly became too much. Within seconds, he began attempting to jump back onto the platform. Unfortunately, he wasn't quick enough. Though a few tried to help him back up, he ended up falling. His screams were so loud as if it echoed against the pure dark abyss below us. It was It was as if the walls were built so that every scream was reverberated. The room grew silent again, everyone looking at the spot where the young man once stood. There was a sudden chime on the intercom. Congrats on the first push. Please continue with the game. As an incentive, we'll be adding another $500 million to the reward, making it $1 billion. Remember the good this money could do for you. What is your dream? Do you want to start a new family? Do you want to live a lifestyle you've only dreamt about? This right here is your opportunity. After a moment's silence, the voice on the intercom said, to make sure the game continues, a portion of the platform will continue to break off at random moments. The voice cut off, this time for good. The rest of the group began to look at each other, finally realizing there was no way out. Mothers began to hold their children closer, eyeing anyone that came close to them. I reached into my pocket and pulled out a single envelope. I opened it and read, Mary, age 43, mother of 5. Her picture showed a middle-aged Hispanic woman. I remember seeing her before. Someone read out loud, baby Caden, age 6 months, son of Rebecca. My heart began to sink. Damien had opened his envelope and revealed that his target was baby Caden. He was still holding on to my son.